Now that's it for your news, and we're going to go ahead and send it over to John with our What's Trending panel.
All right, thank you, Rebecca. We are here with our Sunrise panel this morning for our segment of What's Trending, and today we're talking about debates and fights. I think that seems to be the topic of our whole segment today.
To start trouble, John.
I know.
We're not going to debate. Well, we'll debate, but we're not going to fight.
Hopefully not, yes. We don't want another caught on camera incident. People are fighting and punching each other, so definitely don't want to be caught in that. But anyways, good morning to all of you. How are you all doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good. And we're going to go ahead and start introducing you guys as we do every morning. First of all, we have Natasha Herzig, who is victim's advocate. I was going to call you Natasha Richardson. I'm thinking of actresses this morning. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
That works too, right?
Yes.
Jay Walker, who is a former radio personality this morning, and well, not this morning. And also works at Z Fun Factory.
Yes.
Yeah, so wonderful. And we have Martha Guzman here, who is a former KYMA anchor and our former managing editor. So welcome, Miss Martha.
Glad to be back, John.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you all for joining us again. And we have some things that we're going to talk about this morning. Like I said, lots of debates, lots of fighting going on. First of all, we'll talk about the vice presidential debate that happened last night between Paul Ryan and Joe Biden. The two duked it out last night, and they talked about many issues concerning the economy, jobs, and of course, last week we had Mitt Romney and President Obama, who, a lot of people said Romney took that one. So I'm curious to know who you guys thought came out on top of this debate that happened last night.
Well, we all agreed last week that Mitt Romney came out on top. So I really think that the pressure was on Vice President Joe Biden to really try to, come out aggressive and recapture that momentum for the President Obama campaign. Did he do that? I really think he did come out, aggressive. But I also think that Paul Ryan held his own. His demeanor was very calm, and he did, hold his own, considering that, Vice President Joe Biden has a lot more, experience. At times, it seemed that Vice President Joe Biden, he was laughing, he was chuckling. I didn't really know what to make of that. I'm like, these are serious issues here, So, he was kind of trying to laugh off, what he called malarkey, So if I had to...
Well, you're stealing all my lines.
Oh. I think overall, yes, I think that... I think it was pretty close, but I would say I would give it to Joe Biden this time, and I think the Obama campaign really needed this.
All right, so we got one vote for Biden.
I would say that it was pretty equal. I don't feel one did better than the other. I feel there were strengths and weaknesses on both parts. I agree with you, Martha, that Biden had to come out with the pressure from President Obama's campaign to say, listen, you need to make up for what President Obama couldn't do. As well as I think Paul Ryan had the pressure of trying to be as good as Mitt Romney. And I don't think he really, obviously, was not as well as Mitt Romney. But with that being said, I feel that Biden was a little bit more disrespectful and arrogant and rude. And I feel that Paul Ryan could have been a little tougher, a little bit more aggressive to kind of compete with that behavior. I think that Paul Ryan showed more class in that way. While they spoke a lot about foreign policy as a debate as a whole, while it's a very important issue, I believe that I don't think the top priority of the average American is foreign policy. I believe it's about our economy and trying to find jobs, and the fact that we are in such financial despair and debt that we wanted to hear. They're representing President Obama and Mitt Romney, and we wanted to hear what were we going to do to make it better. With President Obama, we have this side where they really don't have anything to say this is what we've done these past 4 years to make it better. And with Mitt Romney, their campaign hasn't really came out and really had anything significant to stand on in terms of how they're going to better our economy.
So who would you vote for, Ryan or Biden?
I think it's equal.
Okay, equal, all right.
Well, you guys didn't leave me anything to say. You guys said it all.
It's all right. So it's all up to you, Jay.
Well, no, I honestly think that I've always had a statement. I believe you always respect the office of the President of the United States, whether whether it's the one you voted for or not. You got to respect that office. And personally, and here's where people are going to hate me. I am sorry, but I was ashamed of our Vice President last night. Absolutely ashamed of the man. He sat there and laughed and made all of his gestures and stuff, and he did it on purpose. It wasn't like, oh, it was just spontaneous. It was planned. It was what he did to make sure he wanted it. Maybe he wasn't as well. I mean, he was prepared, but I just I'm trying not to get myself in trouble here. I think that Paul Ryan was a bigger man last night.
Absolutely.
He kept it serious. He knew it was for the American public, and I don't think that our vice president showed himself any good there. I think yes, it was pretty even, but if I had to throw something some way, I'd definitely throw Paul Ryan's way because of that.
Well, that's the thing is, if I find it that it was boring and the jibber jabber and no one really standing on anything specific. I find that
Paul stood on some pretty
right, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that I feel like it was such an equal thing that the Democrats are going to say they won and the Republicans are going to say they won.
It's going to be interesting to see actually in the polls and the American public how they respond to this and if it makes any difference whatsoever to the campaign.
And let's remember, Paul Ryan has gotten a lot of flack during this whole debate because he's a lot younger than any vice presidential candidate in the past. So I think a lot of people think just because he's young, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And I think last night he definitely showed America.
Age shouldn't matter, just like skin color shouldn't matter.
Absolutely.
It's about who's the best person for the job. Period.
Yes, I agree. But the liberal media is coming out today saying that Paul Ryan, he had better style. He kept it classy.
Well, we'll definitely have to see what happens. We have two more topics we want to get to, so stay with us, folks. We'll be talking about the Yuma County Sheriff's race and how it could be turning dirty with a lot of mudslinging. We also are going to be talking about a football brawl between two coaches that was caught on camera, and let me tell you, it was having to do with young athletes. So we'll see what our panel has to say about that coming up after this break. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're here with our What's Trending segment this week, and we talked about the vice presidential debate, which of course was heating up. But another debate that's heating up here locally is the Yuma County Sheriff's race between Major Leon Wilmot and Rick Sandoval. Now, earlier this week, there were some signs that were vandalized of Sandoval's, and they had horns painted on them, and someone spray painted the word Diablo next to it. So this race is causing lots of, causing a stir up in people and some tension. And so I just want to get your thoughts on it. I mean, first of all, do you think that the candidates, they were at a forum right here earlier this week provided by the Yuma Sun, do you think that they've gone too far in their mudslinging each other, or do you think that it's the public who's maybe taking this too far?
Hasn't all politicians gone too far with the mudslinging?
Right, and then go with it.
It really does. It's
unfortunately though.
It is unfortunate, and it's like sometimes they don't have anything else to say or to prove their point. They just got to figure out how to point the direction at something else or make fun of somebody else's mistake, and that's not a way to win a race.
We have to focus on the issues.
Exactly.
What's important to our community. Let's focus on public safety, on our safety.
Yes.
I think that's what people want to hear. I'm not sure who's behind the vandalism. We can't say who, but it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's politics. And what do you expect from politics? It's going to get dirty. People are going to air out your dirty laundry because it's all about them winning. You're going to do whatever you can to win. It's competition, and it actually brings out the worst in us is what happens. Yeah. And I think that with the video, Sandoval.
Yeah, I was gonna say, speaking of that video, I think we have it to roll right here. This video, let's explain real fast. There's Rick Sandoval right there. He's saying he shot this for a conference, and he's saying it was a parody. Okay, but in this video, he calls himself the Godfather. He basically is saying that they have the power to guide investigations in the way that they want to.
The wording was influence investigations.
Influence investigations. It was very, very controversial words from him right there.
The supervisors are heads of family.
Heads of family.
He called himself, they said the Corleone family, like in The Godfather.
Exactly.
He says, I'm not the Don, but he's obviously sitting there in his chair. He's making it, you said it was a parody, but
that's what he's saying.
Right, but I don't care if it's a joke or not. Sometimes jokes are just not right, and especially for a race like this, the message he's sending in that joke is not the right message. That he's going to run the sheriff's office like the Corleone, a mafia gangster mob. Yeah, no. Whether it's a joke or not, some jokes just shouldn't be told.
It sends the wrong message.
Exactly. It was a poor choice.
Yes.
I'm sure that he doesn't really see it like that.
No.
It was a poor choice. We all have made poor choices. If you knew he was going to run for sheriff, I don't know what he was ever thinking. When you think you're going to go in the public eye, everyone's going to know your dirty business. While it was cheesy and ridiculous, will it sway voters to Wilmot? I'm not sure, because that's the great thing
I think
about.
it might.
Well, the thing is that's the great thing about America, is that you can vote for whoever you want.
Right.
If you're okay with that, then you can vote for him. Who do I think will come out on top? I would say more so Wilmot, because of a lot of other issues as well. I don't think the video did anything to help him in that way, for sure.
And let's not forget, Wilmot is being backed by Yuma County Sheriff right now, Ralph Ogden, and previous sheriffs. So he's got the whole backing of the whole department right now, basically behind him, saying, this is your guy, elect him. So I think if tradition continues, it'll be Wilmot. But who do you think, Jay?
Oh, I think Wilmot.
Wilmot?
Yeah.
And I don't want to base it not just on this video, but it definitely does bring up concerns. You know, the influence of investigations. I would want to get some clarification on what that means, because we want to know that whoever we do elect is going to uphold the highest standards in their office. So I would have to say Wilmot.
Wilmot. All right. So 3 for Wilmot this morning. Now we want to move on to our next subject, because we're running out of time here. This is the coaches' brawl that was caught on camera. Take a look at this. It was at a junior football game right there, and these two coaches go head to head. Now they're saying one of the coaches was the one who charged the other coach, basically tackled him, as you see in that video. And things just got out of hand right there. You can see that there's parents trying to get involved. I believe they said one woman was knocked over in the process.
It was the team's football mom.
Football mom, exactly. So, it gets a little out of hand. So my question to you is, what kind of example do you think this is setting for the young athletes right there?
Horrible, an absolutely horrible example. The San Francisco, the San Francisco 49ers, it actually was the name of the team. Their coach is the one that ran across and got the other coach. There was some verbal some verbal words between the two that started all, but they have got to hold themselves above all. We got young minds on the field watching. Oh, my coach did that. Whether they go home and say I can do that or not, but maybe 3, 4 years, 5 years down the road, they're going to remember that and say, hey, my coach did that. It's probably all right. These minds, they're putty. They really, really are. We've got to mold them to the
My question is, whatever happened to good sportsmanship,
minus the fact that it was in front of children, I don't want to sound like a PSA here, but violence is not the answer.
Right.
And that is unacceptable behavior, no matter who you're in front of. It doesn't matter, and especially because you're around children. That it's, I always said that, you prove how good you are by you leave it on the mat or you leave it on the field. That's how you show who the better person is. We're a better team. I get it. It's competition. And I understand. Never in my wildest dreams would I have ever imagined a coach doing
So real fast, should the coaches be reprimanded? And if so, what do you think their punishment should be?
Well, the aggressor should be fired and never be allowed to work around children again.
I'm with that. The one guy, they had some verbal. He didn't do anything physical. He may have a little leeway, but the one guy who did hit the other coach and tackle him and all that stuff, he absolutely should be taken off. And probably never coach with kids again.
All right, Martha, to wrap things up here.
I know I have a lot more to say on this, but I would have to agree with them. And the coaches need to be reprimanded and not work with children, because what example are they giving them? Not the right example.
All right, well, there you heard it there from our Sunrise panel this week, folks. Be sure to tune in next week to see what's trending next week and what topics we'll have. Hopefully some better ones where there's not so much fighting going on, but hey, who knows? Everything's unpredictable these days. So we'll be right back after this break, folks.